Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing well. So today I come again with a new topic in success factors. As usual, as you know, who already following my channel, and those people who have not subscribed or followed my channel, they can also find my previous uploaded videos from the playlist called Success Factors. You can find the playlist from the top right corner here. If you can get one eye icon, just click the eye icon. You can find that playlist. The playlist name is Success Factors. And if you go to the playlist, you can find all of my previous uploaded videos there. You can check those. Hope those will be helpful to you to understand the various topics in success factors. And before proceeding to today's video, actually, I like to request everyone, please pause the video for a while, hit the red subscriber button. You have not subscribed my channel yet, and don't forget to hit the bell icon as well, because if I upload any new video, you can get the notification at the earliest by using the bell icon, basically. Uh, so no more discussion anymore. Let's jump into today's topic now. As you already seen from the thumbnail, we are going to discuss today how to configure dynamic breaks in EC time management. That is our prime topic today. So let's move on. First, let's try to understand how many types of breaks and exist in EC time management basically. So right now, whatever the features has been provided by SuccessFactors in Employee Central, we have basically two types of breaks. One is scheduled break, that is very well known. I believe who are actually working in SuccessFactors and mainly in EC or time management part, they definitely be aware of this scheduled break. So that's why I think of that. I should not prepare any video on the well-known topic that you guys are already aware of. So that I have not going to prepare. I'm not going to prepare any video on the schedule break part basically. Uh, if you want more info on the schedule break part, you can request me or comment me in my comment box in the channel. Then I can try to prepare more videos on the schedule break part as well. And another break type that actually we are going to discuss today, that is the dynamic break. So as usual, to discuss and to show the hands demo part, I have picked up one scenario today, and our today's scenario basically. So our today's scenario is, if employee works more than 2 hours, then 15-minute break should be added automatically via this dynamic break part. And if employee works more than 4 hours, another 45 minutes break should be added automatically as well. So now before proceeding, you might be thinking that we have not discussed about the difference between scheduled break and dynamic break. That I intentionally have not mentioned till now, because when you go for the hands-on demo in the instance, then I try to make you understand what are the functionality of schedule break, what are the limitation of schedule break, and that's why this idea of dynamic break comes here, and why you are going to utilize that basically. So third point in our scenario is, if not enough working time recorded by employee, then break need to be adjusted accordingly. This functionality is also available in schedule break. Just giving you one example, suppose one employee is going to work from morning 8 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock, and between that employee is getting one break at 12 p.m. So 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. that employees means allowed to get some breaks, okay, as per company's policy. Now say suppose one day employee worked up to uh, 12 from 8 a.m. morning to 12:15 p.m. mid of the day, right? So in that case, should the employee be eligible to have 30 minutes of break, because that break is scheduled between 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m., right? But the employee has completed his work in that particular day up to 12:15, not 12:30 as well. So automatically this break need to be adjusted to 15 minutes rather than 30 minutes. right? So that functionality also included in our today's requirement. We will check how this will be possible or feasible to configure in system basically. And this feature is already included in schedule break part. So if you already use the schedule break part, you have already noticed that basically. And the last point of today's requirement is, if gaps found in working time, that will be considered at break, and in such case no break need to be posted. So gaps mean the sense, suppose the employee is booking 8 from 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., and again from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. there is a gap, employee is not going to book that due to some reasons, and again employee is booking from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the evening. So that missing 1 hour, should that be considered as break or it should not be considered at all? That is the situation here. So as per our requirement, if there is any gap in the working time booking, that gap also need to be considered as break. So let's check how the configuration step should be for this particular dynamic break configuration. So this slide basically we try to picturize how should be the configuration steps. So first step is we need to enable dynamic break config of code in the job information. So this feature is basically provided by SuccessFactors. This is pretty standard. There is already one field need to be should be available in job information from manage business configurations. So from there you need to just enable that field, dynamic break config code. And after enabling, you need to provide the relevant permission which user should view that field, particularly in employees job info, and which users can edit that field as well. That kind of permission you need to provide that. Then next step is need to create one dynamic break configuration data. So that is the major part actually in this configuration. We'll check it out in our hands-on demo in the instance basically. And the last part is maintain main break time type in time profile. Obviously we need to do that. If we don't maintain any main break time type, then no breaks will be uh, working in our timesheet recording or time of absences as well. So it is a part of means it is a part of break maintenance. Actually it is not regarding to dynamic break or it is regarding to all over all breaks, whether it is scheduled break or dynamic. We need to maintain main break time type in time profile, then only these breaks will be working automatically in our time recording part. So let's check out guys in the instance how we can configure it. So we just log into demo instance right now, and let's try to pick up one test user first. Let's see. Okay, Charles Richardson, one test employee we just pick up first, and let's check out first. Okay, first check out uh, what is the work schedule has been assigned to this particular employee first. So the work schedule is the work pattern name here, and it is assigned as CLT norm 1. So let's try to open that work schedule in another window. Go to manage data, work schedule, CLT norm 1, that is the work schedule assigned to the particular employee. This is a schedule model work schedule. That means one period model need to be assigned with that. This is the period model. Try to open this. So in this period model, first 5 days are working for the employee, next 2 days are not working days. If I open that day model, so in this day model we can find 10 to 10:15. So total working time for these employees from morning 8 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock, and in between two schedule breaks are configured right now for this employee. So and first break is 10 to 15 in the morning, 15 minutes break. Next break is 12:30 p.m. to 1:15, that means 45 minutes of schedule break is configured. Now let's check for this particular employee's timesheet. So let's try to book one time record. So when we are going to post one time record, as you see, from 8 o'clock from in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening, total 9 hours working time booked. Automatically these two scheduled breaks, that is 10 to 10:15 and 12 to 12:30, 12:30 to 1 15, that means 45 minutes break is automatically populating here. So now this is the functionality of schedule breaks. So as we schedule these breaks within these specific time slice, means one first time slice is 10 to 10:15, second time slice is 12:30 to 1:15. Within the scheduled time slice, if our working time is continued, then automatically these schedule breaks will get recorded or posted in our timesheet recording. Okay. Now our requirement is, say this is the planned working hours, right? So work schedule, why you configure the work schedule? Because to plan our working hours, those are not the actual working hours. Now say this employee, let me just cancel it. Now say one day this employee comes a bit early in the office, so 6 in the morning, and end time say 3 or 15, that means 3 o'clock in the evening. So right now you can see this employee started working from 6 and end time is 15 hours, that means 3 o'clock in the evening. So as per company's policy, if employee works 2 hours continuously, then employee should be uh, 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 eligible to get some break. And first break is the 15 hours, 15 minutes. So now in this case, as the working time is changed, means start time of the working is changed, it is 6 in the morning, not 8 in the morning. So these break, first 15-minute break should be available after 8 in the morning, not after 10. So as we already scheduled this break from 10 to 15 only, that's why it is coming, the schedule break is fixed only within that time slice. But if we want, dynamically that will be decided based on the start time of that employee is working. After 2 hours dynamically 15 minutes break need to be posted, then that feasibility is not available in the schedule break part. So to configure this feasibility, we SF has introduced the concept of dynamic break. So that is what we are going to configure this today. So now let's go back again for this employee. And let's come back to configure business it is manage business configuration. Sorry, manage business configuration. So within manage business configuration, as for the first step, we need to configure the dynamic configuration, the field for dynamic break basically. So let's go to job information. So dynamic break config code, so this field you need to enable here. I have already enabled for these purposes actually. So you need to just pick up from this drop down dynamic break config code, and you need to set some labels and need to enable this. And after enabling, you need to provide the required permission from the permission role. So let's go to permission role. You need to pick up your relevant permission role here. I am just picking up the system admin. and within that particular permission role you need to go to effective employee central effective dated entities, and there try to search dynamic break configuration. So here you need to enable this. Save it, save it. Okay, now it's our dynamic configuration field in job information we have enabled. We have provided required permissions as well. Now the second step is we need to create our dynamic break as per our requirement. So let's go to manage data. Let's go to dynamic break configuration. Put some name, LYT dynamic break. Putting in English and default language only. Description, I'm just putting the same. Dynamic break external code, I'm also putting the same. Uh, um, these two fields, I'm going to discuss about these two fields bit later when I'm going to test this. Then I will discuss and check what is the usability of these two fields specifically. So here we need to set when working time already past 2 hours. Then we need to set one break, accumulated break in minutes. That means 15 minutes we are setting here. That is external code, say T1 dynamic TB1. Okay, and next break is after working of 4 hours, employee will be eligible to get 45 minutes of break. So that means here we need to set 4 hours, and this is cumulated breaks in minutes. So that means 15 minutes is already we have posted. Next cumulated will be 15 plus 45, that means 60 minutes we need to post here. TP2 external code I'm just putting, now saving this. And initially I'm just setting this part as full deduction, and gaps in working time I'm just setting it as ignore, first test. Saving it. Need to assign this particular dynamic break to employees job information. So let's go to employees employment, edit dynamic break configuration. This we have enabled, and here I'm setting this dynamic break that we have created. Save it. Now let's employees time profile. So employees time profile is CLT1. Go to that particular time profile. Sorry, it is not CLT1, it is CLT standard. Now here you can see main break type, it is already configured as scheduled break. So just to distinguish this from our dynamic break configuration, I am just creating another time type here. Say it is dynamic break. Setting the classification as break. dynamic break. Putting this dynamic break as a time type in the employee's time profile. Employee self-service enabled, let's say no, and favorite also no. Dynamic break, and setting it here as a main time type as well. Main absence, it should not be absence time type, it should be main break time type. Main break time type, setting this dynamic break now and saving it. So right now for this particular time profile, main break time type is the dynamic break we have configured right now. So we need to do another change is in employees work schedule, that we need to remove that scheduled breaks that is already been configured to employees work schedules, because if there is already scheduled breaks and also we are configuring dynamic breaks, system will give the priority to the scheduled breaks, and as per the scheduled breaks only the breaks are going to be posted in employees timesheets. So we need to remove the scheduled breaks to see the actual results that we have configured as a part of dynamic breaks. So let's go to these employees job information again. Which come to this work pattern and just paste this CLT norm 2. So what is there in CLT norm 2? We just search CLT norm to this particular work schedule. This is a schedule kind of schedule modeled work schedule, where one period model work schedule is being assigned. What is there in that period model work schedule? If we check, you can find this 5-day models. It is exactly the same that was being configured to the previous work schedule to this particular employee. And if we check this particular work schedule day model, then we can find starting time is 8, end time is 5 o'clock in the evening. So start time and end time of the working time for this particular employee is same, but the scheduled breaks we have removed from this particular work schedule day model. And this day model is associated to that one work schedule which is going to be assigned to this particular employee. This is the work schedule CLT norm 2. We're going to assign it, save it. Now it's time for testing. Let's go to time management, time sheet, and try to first try to assign some planned working hours basically. So 8 to 5, and assign it. When we are assigning, our dynamic breaks are created automatically, as you see. After 2 hours of the working hour, it means 10 to 15 minutes break. Then after 4 hours of working hours, that means 12 15 to 1. So if we why it is 4 hours means 12:15 is has been counted, because this 15 is already been taken from as a dynamic break from employees working time. So from here you can see that total working hours 9 and dynamic break has been uh, configured as 1, means 15 plus 45, it is 16, means 1 hours. Now what is the actual testing we need to do? That is, if employee started working before of 8, that means say 6 o'clock in the morning, employee start working 6 to 13 hours, that means 3 p.m. Now let's see. So you can see automatically this dynamic break identifies that after 2 hours it means 8 o'clock, not 10 o'clock in the morning. So earlier what is happening in our schedule breaks, always the breaks have been scheduled from 10 to 15 and then 12 to 12:30 to 1:15. But right now it has been setting based on the dynamically based on the time of the start time of this employee's particular employee's working time. So if employee starts working at 6 in the morning, so after 2 hours means 8 o'clock, the first break will be allocated then after 4 hours, that means 10:15, the second break is going to be allocated. So this is one of the very important feature. Now let's say let's go to our dynamic break configuration part. So here we have maintained this method of generating breaks is full deduction and gaps in working time ignored. So now say it is testing 2. Let me cancel this one. That employee started working from 8 o'clock in the morning and worked up to 9 in the morning. Then 1 hour is missing and employee started cooking again from 10 o'clock in the morning to 17. That means 5 o'clock in the evening. So here you can see the dynamic breaks are not counting those missing hours. So 9 to 10 is the missing hour, but that is not counted. But as per our requirement, if there is any gap, so that gap should be treated as breaks as well. So that means in that case, this 15 minutes break should not be posted because employee has already taken 1 hour of gap now in his planned working or scheduled working. So let's try to configure the same. First, we need to unassign that particular dynamic break from employee's job info assignment. So let's do that. Let's go back to employee's job information. And just delete that break. Now coming to our dynamic break configuration, and here I'm setting it first partially deduction, because if it is 1 hour missing, then full 60 minutes breaks will not be permissible for that employee if we count that gap as in working as a break. So counting gaps in working time as breaks, and method of generating breaks as partial break. So if there is a 45 minutes of gap in employees working hours, then 45 minutes will be counted as break and 15 minutes of additional dynamic break will be allowed for that employee. But if the gap in working hours is 1 hour or more than 1 hour, no more breaks will be allowed for that particular employee's timesheet. Okay, so let's set this configuration as it is, like this, and then again reassign that break, dynamic break, to this particular employee's job information. Now it is time for testing timesheet. So say Monday from 8 to 9 employee has worked. Then from 9:45 to 17 employee has worked. So you can see now uh, for these 45 minutes of break, it is not getting posted. Why it is not getting posted? Because these missing 45 hours in the working time, which is automatically counted as break. So that 45 minutes of break is not allowed to be posted, and that is how system behaving as per our configuration. And now let's test another scenario here, because we have said this method of generating as partial. So let's say one employee has worked. So employees first break, it is 15 minutes, and next break is 45 minutes. So next break is after 4 hours only. So let's say this employee has worked up to from 8 o'clock in the morning to 12:40. So you can see now first break 15 minutes is getting posted after 2 hours. That is fine. Now the next break, it is now adjusted to 25 minutes rather than 45 minutes, because employee has left for the day on 12:40. So that's why, as per the employee's submitted working time, the breaks are also dynamically adjusted. So this is another good feature in dynamic breaks. So hope you guys you enjoyed this video and you are able to understand when we should use the schedule breaks and when we should use the dynamic breaks, and what are the facilities of dynamic breaks over the schedule breaks basically. So if you like this video, please hit the like icon, uh, and if you want, you can also share these videos as well, as more as you can. And please keep watching and happy learning. Thank you.